where we collect stories and circulate life-changing wisdom. I'm your host, Asher, and our guest today is Jyotsna and Raymond, two awesome individuals going to talk to us about fear today, which is our theme of our Wednesday conversation around fear. And we just get to hear each person's relationship with fear and some stories that they've been through that they've really put fear to the limit, put fear on front stage and kind of test it out and see what he has to offer them. But we're gonna start off with Jyotsna. If you don't mind sharing what you specialize in, how you adding value to the world, who you being a hero to, and the same thing for Raymond after.
Great. Thank you for the lovely introduction. I'm a business success mindset expert and coach. I'm also a certified hypnotherapist and a rapid transformational therapist. And I've created a unique blended approach of coaching and hypnotherapy to bring powerful results to my clients. I mainly help business owners and entrepreneurs who want to achieve their goals. I help them overcome their fears, overcome
Mm-hmm.
challenges, limiting beliefs, self-doubt, so they can really go out there and achieve what they want. I'm really passionate about helping business owners and entrepreneurs because entrepreneurship brings a lot of challenges, self-doubt, fears of failure, fear of success. And we all want to make an impact in the world and leave the world a better place. So I thought, who not, best to serve. So that's what I'm passionate about. And that's what I do. My relationship to fear, now that's a very interesting question, and it actually throws back a lot of memories in mind as well. I'm actually going through sort of a fear right now, which, I manage because I'm also a mindset expert and coach. I was in employment, getting a salary for many years of my life, and that was my main livelihood. And since I became a mum, I decided to retrain and follow my purpose and passion. And that's where my interesting journey with fear begins. I had lots of doubts and limiting beliefs. How will I do this? Am I good enough? And it held me back for a couple of years. And I was procrastinating and just thinking about what I was going to do. But then finally, they say, when the pain is unbearable, you take action.
Mm-hmm.
So I took action and there was no looking back. Since then, it's been 2 years. I retrained to do what I do right now. And at the moment, my business is still growing. And I've invested a lot of time and energy and emotion into it. And it's not quite where I would like it to be, but it is growing. So I'm having to deal with the fear, which I know a lot of other entrepreneurs also face is the fear of failure. What if it doesn't work? What if I lose everything that I worked hard for? And I have good days, many good days, but I also have many challenging days where I dialogue with myself and self-coach myself and tell myself that at the end of the day, fear is a response that is deep in our subconscious as humans. Our human mind is designed to run away from fear or anything that causes us pain and go towards pleasure. So I understand what is driving the fear. But it's interesting because I'm really having to work on this and I guess, swallow my own pill kind of thing. And it's really interesting because it's really revealing another side to me as well about my own resilience and about my
Mm-hmm.
own grit. Because on one hand, I feel the fear because it's normal, but then I still wake up every day and I do what I do and I'm consistent and I take action. So it's told a lot about who I am as well. I have experienced fear in the past. I moved to the United Kingdom from India, and that was quite a long journey. It took me 14 years to get a residency in this country, and I remember going through fear. I left India under some difficult circumstances, and going back was not an option. And I had to jump through a lot of visa hoops to be where I am today. And I spent a lot of time in fear that, oh my God, I don't want to go back. I have to make it work. So,
Mm-hmm.
although fear paralyzes you, but fear also pushes you to grow. And I now started believing that fear is kind of a prerequisite for growth amongst many things, because actually it pushes you to do your best in life.
I would love to get into that story about the India transition and the immigration journey too. So we're gonna tap. I'm gonna put a pause in here. Going to tap into that one piece. But I want to bring in Raymond real fast so we can kind of introduce your story, Raymond. What you specialize in, where you're hailing from actually, and how you adding value to the world. We're gonna come back into the story about the travel too from India to the UK.
Sure. So I'm a life coach that specializes in spiritual happiness. Now, what exactly is spiritual happiness? It's something that we're all trying to reach for. Every single one of us, anyone watching this live, you, everybody is on a mission to achieve spiritual happiness in their life. Now, I focus on two areas: action-based professionals who are struggling in their family dynamic relationships or their soul mission. So oftentimes we have a corporate America job. It's not cutting it. You haven't been paying the bills, but we're just toughing it out. We don't like it anymore. And I want to do something else with my life, like what my wife did. She goes, I don't want to do this anymore. She quit. She went back to school. She goes, I want to start a business. I'm like, okay, well, you start a business. So there's that transition that you have to understand, that when you have a means of income, then you want to go out into the world and provide a service. So I focus on that. And of course, I also focus on family dynamics at the same time, because you have to make money to eat and to pay the bills. So your business has to succeed in order for your loved one to take it serious. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of arguments in the world. It's going to be a lot of fights in the room, because you have to prove to others and even in your family members that your soul mission business will take care of the family and take care of itself. So there's that soul mission aspect I help with, but then of course, you might be already an entrepreneur when you're spending so much time on your business. Are you not prioritizing work-life balance for your loved ones? Because I do believe when you get into an entrepreneurship, the reason why we went into entrepreneurship is so we can make more time for our loved ones and make enough money to where we can have that proper work-life balance. But you can become a slave to your own business, meaning all you're doing is just working on your business and not traveling and having fun and not doing the things that business owners have the ability to do, because your business will be there tomorrow. It will be there 2 days from now. You are a CEO. You don't have to spend all the time on the business. You could delegate the tasks to other people. So that's where my coaching gets into play. It's about work-life balance, and it's about teaching happiness, health, wealth, and the law of attraction to anyone who's struggling with their family dynamics or getting more in their soul mission journeys. And that's, I've learned that, and my business also comes with energy healing, because a lot of people come with fear. And that's when I get into fear, is that when you heal and you get to the root of the issue and you do spiritual development, there will be no fear. You heal the indecisiveness, you hear all that stuff, and you just go into the unknown and just let the universe bless you with blessings.
Thank you so much, Raymond, for sharing. And also, Justin, thank you so much for also sharing your story and what you specialize in. So what I want to focus on the conversation around is the personal piece of it. So just want to ask both of you, so I want to start with you, Justin, to figure out if you get to share one of your biggest encounter with fear, and how you transform that fear into something that was useful for you and your journey, and for the people that you're serving right now, people you're being a hero to. What would be that moment or that situation that you encounter that massive fear in, that you want to share?
Okay, so generally in life, I've not been a fearful person. I never really feared anything. There wasn't anything tangible that I was faced with. But in my early 20s, I got married. I had an arranged marriage. I was very young. I had no idea what I was getting into. It was just a thing that happens in India to youth. And so I got married, but that marriage didn't work out. And I walked out of that marriage and brought shame to my family completely fearlessly. But what happened was I had to restart my life again and went through a really horrible divorce. And because I had brought shame to my family, and culturally I had done something that not many girls in India back in the days did, going back to India was not an option. I was looking for starting a new life, or starting a new life from scratch. And when I came to the UK, I came as a student first and then find myself a job. But lots of visa and immigration laws kept changing over here. And one day I was qualified for something, and the next day I wasn't. And that put me in severe panic. And that was the first time I felt fear, like, oh my God, I cannot go back. And I needed help. So a kind soul appeared in my life and offered me help. And I remember then, now looking back, that was the time when I felt fear the most. And what it taught me, what did I do? How did I conquer it? I told myself, I had a chat with myself that, I've done nothing wrong. My heart's in the right place. My intentions are right. So it will work out. I didn't know how it will work out, but I just knew it will work out. And going back to what Ray said, the law of attraction, I think I was manifesting my future unknowingly. And I overcame that fear. I had a friend or two to advise me as well and to really help me through that and support me. And then once I had that mindset that, no, I'm going to make it work no matter what, I really did overcome that fear. And things just started to happen. And here I am. I'm settled now in the UK. I still had to jump through a lot of hoops. But I think that's when I remember I was sleeping and I woke up in panic and at night sweating that, oh my God, what if I have to go back? And that's when I knew I had fear. And since then, again, once I was settled, it was fine. But that journey, that time period of not knowing, because our brain doesn't handle uncertainty very well. And that also is a driver for fear and failure, of course. So that's how I kind of, got over it. And that's how I recognized who I am. Fear taught me who I am and how I rose to the occasion and overcame that. It wasn't all alone. There was a lot of my mindset, but there was also a network of a couple of very good friends and a kind soul who appeared in my life who helped me. And I think that's definitely, what you are looking for is looking for you. So if your heart is in the right place, if your intentions are right, then the universe and the stars align to make it happen for you.
Wow. That was incredible, by the way. So thank you so much for sharing that. And two things that stood out to me when you was talking just now, you was talking about, I am not going back. That means you're moving forward. You got to move forward. And that's that kind of thing that kind of put you forward. And also, it taught you who you are.
Yeah.
Facing that fear actually taught you who you are. So Raymond, listen to Jyotsna's story. What showed up for you that you can kind of tie into your own journey?
First of all, Jonah, that was such an amazing story about immigration and fear, and I think a lot of immigrants are going to resonate with that. So I appreciate you and your journey with that. As far as my concern, I've always been a pretty courageous person, but my biggest fear in life is coming from such a small, intricate family. I'm an only child. My dad's an only child. My mom was an only child through birth. I do have some half aunts and uncles. However, my biggest fear in life is how do I react to when my grandmother and my dad go? Because grief is a real big trigger for me. When I was 17, I was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. So I see visions. My mood can go up and down. And my whole life, I have always had a fear that if I had another break of some sort, what would happen? Well, in September of last year, out of all the energy healing I got into, I went into the heavenly state realm, and God came through my dad, put a hand on him, and said, hey, everything is going to be okay. So the most loving energy, whatever it was, I'm in this realm, and God just goes through my dad. My dad doesn't even remember what he said. It wasn't his voice at all. He goes, everything's going to be okay. And ever since that time, everything has been okay. And I've learned to manifest my own miracles in life. So that my words and actions are very powerful. And then I decided, you know what? I went for a walk, on my neighborhood walk that takes me up to this place called Lake Chabot. And a falcon flew on this actual branch. I said, let me just follow the falcon. I'm going to follow nature here. And I saw two beings sitting on the bench, a bench I'd never seen before. But I was attracted to them And these two beings were not human. They were much more pale. When I told them I was going to perform miracles in public, they go, oh, so someone has to do this work in public as well as online and in private areas as well. So I decided to take what was going on in the Catholic Church for years out to the public streets. And so spiritual leadership, which I'm getting into, doesn't just only happen online, it happens offline as well. So after that day, I've had no fear. My fear has been healed. I go into the unknown. I understand that my words and actions are very powerful. So I remember one time in December, I was helping my wife with her clothing business. And I talked to a guy and I exposed a thief. And I said, hey, look, guess what? My grandfather died on Christmas 1993. The Niners might just win the Super Bowl. He looks up like, what the heck? And when I get in the elevator, he's actually trying to steal the clothes. So I go, where's my dad's car? Where's my dad's car? It was stolen. He goes away. And I go back to that car. So I have no fear. I'm living without fear right now because I've gone through my healing journey. And I know that I'm going to be okay. And that's how I healed my fear.
Wow. That was completely unexpected there, Raymond. And so sometimes in life we all experience things and people don't even understand them. And people hear them, don't even believe in. But sometimes I say it's not because you have an experience doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
Because even my great grandmother has some gift that when I talk about some of the stuff that she done, like, oh my God, how did she do that? I didn't understand the stuff growing up myself because I didn't believe it either, But she was doing some stuff. I'm like, wow, like didn't expect those stuff. So I'm always curious about other people's story, their journey, stuff they experienced because I'm always curious about what is it happening that I'm not seeing myself. Like what
Right.
is happening in the world that people are experiencing that I'm not experiencing. I want to hear those stories. I want to see them. I want to experience them because I was writing today and I was thinking about the concept of that you can only experience what you don't know.
Right.
If you know it, then you can't experience it. You already know it. So I was thinking about even the concept of God itself, right? Where let's imagine like God knows everything, right? But then God is like, I want an experience. The only way for me to have the experience is to go to a state of forgetfulness. And in the state of forgetfulness, then I get to have the experience of remembering, right, who I am. So when earlier, Jyotsna was talking about
Jyotsna.
Jyotsna. She was talking about like knowing who she are. Like she started knowing who she are, and that kind of resonated with me because I realized that in the space of fear is that when I get to actually like know who I am, like start recognizing who Asher is, because now this thing that I fear exposed something about me that I forgot or I need to experience. So thinking about Raymond's story, Jyotsna, and your own journey with fear, what else is showing up for you?
So his words that, your words and actions matter, and the fact that, he's healed himself, that really resonates. Um, I've I've been through my own healing journey, and as a hypnotherapist and as a mindset coach as well, I absolutely agree and understand the impact of words, because the words we say create pictures in our heads, and the pictures we make then influence our thoughts, our feelings, our behavior, and our behavior then dictates the events. So if you change the quality of your thoughts, if you change your words, you can make a big difference, and you can really make a big difference to your actions. And what I was doing in those moments when I was faced with fear was that I was dialoguing with my mind. I understood that I have a fear. I accepted it, because that's where the power came, is not by reacting to the fear and running away from it or trying to hide away from it, but confronting it and embracing it, that, this is my fear. I have to own up to it, and rationalizing it where I could, and dialoguing with my mind to say, at the end of the day, this is just a bodily reaction. This is just a subconscious reaction. We are designed and programmed to go into a flight, freeze, or fight response. This is my freeze response or my fight response. And I can overcome that. And I can overcome that by staying calm, by staying true to myself, and telling myself that you can do it. So that really resonated with him. And this is how I manage if there is any fears, like I said, I often think about how my business is doing, where it's going, invested a lot of emotion, time, and energy. And yes, the fear comes and goes from time to time, and I accept it and I embrace it because my mind is just doing its job. If there was a lion suddenly coming here in this podcast, we'd be running away because that's fear. It's programmed. We can't escape it. It's in our DNA, it's in our blueprint, it's in our evolution. So you can't. So the best thing I found is to embrace it. And in a sort of a way, I have healed myself, but my way of healing myself is to embracing it and accept it and dialogue with it and snap out of it.
Mm. Wow, you both you guys are so interesting, so much. Oh my God. So if somebody listen to us right now, Jyotsna, they have met you, they're like a stranger, they haven't had like they might take a long time to get to know you. But if you had to describe like who is Jyotsna right now, if you had to tell them who she is, what would you say?
I would say that I'm kind, I'm generous, I'm
Mm.
caring, um, I'm bold, I'm quite courageous, I'm brave, and I can also be a bit sensitive. And yeah, and I like to think that I created something of my life. I came from very humble beginnings, and I created something for myself. So I'm a self-made person. And yeah, I think that's what I would say about me.
Well, I could agree so far. What about you, Raymond? If you had to, so you had to speak to those that are strangers to you right now that haven't been your friend yet, what would you say? Who would you say you are right now?
For all you strangers out there, understand that we go through things. Every single one of us has our own story to share. So my story is great, it's impactful, but I want to hear your story. Are you willing to share your story with others that you trust? Because I've realized that when we share our story and we actually connect with other people on a soulful level, we feel a lot better.
Mm.
And where the coaching industry allowed me to thrive was actually sharing my story and getting my story out more in public. Because I believe no matter where you are in life, it doesn't matter where you're at, there's always someone out there that's willing to listen to your frustrations.
Mm.
And for years, I bottled a lot of things up. And it wasn't until after my mother had moved to Oregon that I realized I got to start getting to the root issue. I got a therapist because my mom was the one that understood me the most. And with her in a different state, it's like, okay, my life is now going in a different direction. I now have I met my wife online during that time. I would just, if you're with your family dynamics, which I really specialize in making that work-life balance, understand that everything that we do, there's a type of grind that we have to get through. We have to be grounded in what we do. But then we can also elevate our sense of consciousness at the same time. So that way we're not too grounded, we're not too in that just present moment as well, because we have goals to achieve. We have things we need to accomplish on this earth. We cannot be in nirvana in heaven as long as we want to be, because once you get there, you're not going to feel like doing anything. And I was there in September from all the healing. So we have goals to achieve. And the goal, I believe, for everyone is to have peace, not only in our career, but peace within the family as well. And that's why I can tap into both, because without a stable job, then your spouse like, well, who did I marry? Here, you know, there are many. I've seen many marriages fail because someone couldn't hold down a job for very long, or their businesses failed for some reason, and so that's why I'm really catering more towards the small and big business owner. Because once you're married and you don't prenuptial, you don't have a prenuptial agreement because you didn't think you needed one, then you're going to lose all that money. But even still, losing the person you love the most at that moment in time could take energy away from what you care about the most professionally, because you're just thinking about it. Your mind's racing. Oh my gosh, what did I do? We all know what happened to Tom Brady. He had one of the worst seasons in his life after the divorce of his wife, because he says, well, they had, I don't know what agreement they had, but he goes, well, I'm going to play one more year, but you said you were going to stay home and take care of the kids. And he has not the best year. I think they got beat in the playoffs. And he goes, okay, no, but he lost 250 million in the lawsuit. He also lost his wife, so now he has to figure out how to live life without her. And I'm pretty sure he has plenty of options because he's Tom Brady, but it doesn't matter. It's about that level of commitment and that communication you have with someone to really make things worthwhile in your life.
Well, thank you for sharing that too. But I'm curious though, still at the core of Raymond, who is Raymond? If you had to
Who
give
is
us a
Raymond?
yeah.
Who is Raymond? You know
Mm.
what? I always say these I am affirmations. So I am worthy, I'm kind, I'm gentle spirited, I am loved, and I am wise. I would say I'm very wise for my age. I'll be 35 and I'll be 35 a month from now. So June 22nd, 1989 is my birthday.
Mm.
Definitely wise beyond my years, which is why I became a coach at a young time. And I just, who am I? I'm just someone who likes to help people. I found an alternative way to help people.
Thank you so much for sharing. Jyotsna, back to you, my friend.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm curious, why is this work that you're doing right now? Why is it so important to you?
That's a great question. Because of my immigrant journey, when I came to the UK, it was all about establishing myself here.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to have a job that paid me well, and I have a really successful career. But I felt like something was lacking in my life. I wasn't quite sure what it was. And during lockdown, I experienced some mindset coaching. I got into personal development. I came across rapid transformation therapy and hypnotherapy, and that really changed my life. And it started the process of self-discovery in a completely different way for me. For the first time, I started to really understand myself and look back at my actions and have an explanation as to why I behaved the way I did, why I made the choices that I did. And I found that really, really empowering. I think one of the best journeys you can ever make in your life is the journey of self-discovery.
Mm.
And that's where the light bulb switched on for me. And I realized that what I was missing was a purpose. And although I was a mum, and yes, being a mum gives you a purpose, but I felt like there was something else more out there in life for me. And I realized that I love helping people. I was just being myself by giving good advice. And often friends and family would say that they feel really uplifted after talking to me. I had volunteered for a few things and I got that feedback, but I never really took that seriously and I kind of forgot about it. But then I realized that I really love helping people. And then it's all started to fit together, my own personal transformation, my own journey. And I learned so much. I was like, I need to share this with the world. I need to share this technique with the world, which is rapid transformational therapy, which is amazing. And hypnotherapy has a lot of misconceptions around it. But the hypnosis that I learned is very super relaxed, and all it does is helps you access your subconscious mind so you can really get to the root cause of your fears, your limiting beliefs, your issues, get over them, reframe them, reprogram them. So I do a lot of unconscious reprogramming through hypnotherapy and neuroplasticity and really change those beliefs. I went through that experience and I wanted to share that with the world. So it was really the coming together of finding my purpose and sharing what I've learned with the world. I decided to train in it. And that's how I became a hypnotherapist and a rapid transformation therapist. And I also acquired coaching qualifications so that I could actually combine everything in one program so I could offer that to people who are looking to grow. So I definitely, love doing that. And that is the reason why I do what I do.
Mm. I am getting to discover a little bit more about you right now, and I'm curious even more about you say you love this self-discovery is like one of the best things you can do about yourself. So what is it about you that you've discovered so far that you're just really, really so proud of?
Oh my God, I get goosebumps now talking about it. I'm absolutely amazed by the incredible power I've had within me, and we all have it. We all have it. Someone once said to me that, you're infinitely powerful, but those words, I feel them more now.
Mm.
My father used to say that you can only acquire gold when it's like you take it to a very high temperature. That's how you extract gold. And the metaphor means, the analogy is that, you really have to go through stuff in life for the best of you to emerge. And that's what all the experiences, good and bad, told me about me, is how incredibly powerful I am. And we all have that power. We all have that power. And I think that's kind of what it is for me that I discovered about myself.
Oh, ooh, I love it. Thank you so much. And I'm a dig if you don't mind me. I really love your story, by the way, and I want to get to know a bit more about it. And if we had to think back into your history, your story, and figure out, is there anything that you would give back or keep from your story?
Give back or keep? In what way?
You've been through so much, and you're like, oh, I would give, I wouldn't want to experience that thing. I would give it back, or this thing that I've had, I want to keep. What do you want to give back?
Um, so the honest answer is, if you had asked me this question a year ago, I would have
Hmm.
had stuff to give back. But because of the journey I've taken, I am who I am today because of what happened in my past. If I grew up in a chaotic childhood around a lot of chaos, it made me who I am today because it gave me the resilience. I could have turned out someone else, but I didn't. I
Mm.
rose above that. So if I hadn't gone through that experience, who knows what my life would have been like. So you can't appreciate the light if you don't embrace the darkness, because unless you're in the dark, you can't really appreciate the light. So I've learned to embrace those shadows. I've learned to embrace that darkness, or I've learned to embrace all the bad things, even if at that time, and even for many years, I continue to feel, why did that happen? Why? I understand why, because I had to be who I am today,
Mhm.
and it's all linked. And it doesn't matter where you come from. What matters is where you're going. And I'm kind of also on a personal mission to change it through the next generations to come. My son doesn't need to go through that pain. I have gifts to give him. It's helped me be a more mindful and a present mother because of my experience. It's actually helped me be a better person in so many ways. It's given me empathy. When I hear other people's story, I can empathize with them because I actually went through that. And I feel that that's a gift. It gives me connection to a lot of people. So, yes, sometimes I think maybe I should give that back, but then I'm like,
Mm.
but no, why would you? Because it makes you who you are today.
Very powerful. Thank you so much, Jyotsna, for sharing. And Raymond, just listen to her story just now. What is showing up for you?
As far as myself or her?
Just her story, yeah, yeah.
Well, she has an amazing story as far as in the immigration platform, I'd say. Grew up in an area which was colonized by Great Britain back in the 1800s, and then she decides, well, I want to go to move to Britain, get away from India, because my wife is Indian. She's from Fiji, and her family was brought to Fiji in the 1860s under the British colonization of Fiji. So her story of just being an empowered individual through immigration, because I married an immigrant, it got me thinking about my wife, what they've had to go through coming to America in the 1980s, and just no straightforward. They're going to work. My grandfather-in-law, who recently passed away, became a Hindu priest, and he worked at a store, and all of their children have successful jobs now. And we all have a story of like how we got to where we need to go. Like if you want to put immigrants in my family, on my mom's side, my family has been here since the 1860s from Cornwall, England. My dad's side, they came from Portugal and Hawaii for the most part. So here in the United States of America, we're not even the native people of the land.
Mhm.
We are all immigrants. So to get into a point where immigrants are not allowed in anymore, I think is just it's a crying shame, because we are a nation of immigrants, whereas the native people of this land have the worst land that there is to be. So I think America, even England, and even a lot of other places have a lot of things they have to get out in the open and say we're sorry, but sorry doesn't cut it now, because I'm not a big fan of colonization. I just think it causes too much about things. But just hearing her story reminded me of my wife, of immigration and customs, and having to become a citizen, and the difficulties that they have with the natives of the land, and how that empowers you to become a strong person.
Mm. What are your thoughts, Jyotsna?
Um, yeah, I kind of don't think too much about the colonization part anymore. Like I said, it's being, living here and seeing, how things are over here, especially in London. It's like a melting pot of a lot of cultures. Um, and I think, everyone's quite integrated and accepting. So although I immigrated here, I don't feel like an immigrant, because I integrated myself very much into the society. I hold my own values, my Indian values, but I'm also a modern, progressive woman
Mm-hmm.
who likes to move with the times and not dwell too much on the past. Um, so I don't think about it in those terms anymore. I've always seen myself as a contributor. Um, and yeah, at the end of the day, things change in law, in politics, and decisions are made at a level, and we are at the receiving end. So it's, I don't really know how things sometimes work. They haven't been the smoothest. Like I said, a couple of times in my career here, laws changed, and that had me, reconsider and find new solutions. But yeah, I think I feel like I'm very much integrated. My husband's German, and I live in a neighborhood where everyone's very mixed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's highly mixed area, and I love that about being in London. It's a bit different on the outskirts of England, but I think I'm a Londoner.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know what I've noticed? I'm listening to your story there, Jyotsna. You're such a future-oriented person. And when you spoke earlier about not going back, that even confirmed to me a lot more about how future-oriented you are as far as like moving towards, moving ahead, moving forward. And I think the
Yeah.
people that are looking for your kind of specialty just kind of probably recognize that if you're a person that future-oriented, then maybe you are a person that they could probably connect with because of how you look at the world. Because I was just listening to how you kind of really break down like maybe the fear, the thing that happens to you in your past kind of put you into a person that really look towards the future. Like, I don't know if you're a goal-driven person or not, but it's definitely, I can tell that you're really, really a forward-thinking person.
I am. I would like to think I am. I try to be.
Yeah. I feel like I feel that. That's what I felt so far listening to your story. But we're gonna wrap up a bit now, and I want to ask you both, is there anything that you want to share that we haven't talked about that you want to just share right now? We'll start with you, Raymond.
Right. I just want to say it's been an amazing journey going on your podcast, and kudos to you for coming on here, uh, just now. I just want to say it's just I have a great time sharing my story to your audience, and family dynamic challenges happen for all of us, and I'm just really big in making sure families stick together and don't go off of that divorce train. We want
Mm,
to you want a divorce during these times. I don't think any of us can afford a divorce right now, because that's expensive. So that's where I'm at right now in my life. And yeah, if you're an entrepreneur, learn to work smarter and definitely not harder, because That's you don't want to get the burnout when you're 40, 50. You want to slow and easy wins the race.
Mm.
Yeah.
And if people hear your story, Raymond, and like, oh my God, I would love to work with Raymond. How can I work with you?
Well, they can reach out to me on my socials at Ray of Life Me on Instagram or Facebook. I have a YouTube video. I have a YouTube. You can go at Raymond Freitas 4532. You can message me on there. I have 14 videos of music and inspiration on there. I also providing my music for free. But if you want to look at my website, rayoflifeme.com, let's start a conversation and let me help you with your family dynamic, or maybe balance your career and your family at the same time. I'm really big on work-life balance, making sure we spend time with our loved ones more.
And you said that's Ray of Life
Life
Me.
me at .com or at Ray of Life Me. It is on here on my screen at Ray of Life Me.
Okay.
So that'll take you to my socials, and the only thing that's not in my socials is my YouTube, because you have to have 100 subscribers first before you actually get to make your name. But enjoy my music. My music is one of my passions, and I'm providing it here on the coaching space as a way to uplift and empower people, because I think that's one thing that brings everyone closer to a higher power is music. And then, of course, for the generation that's not into church or anything like that, I'll reach you through sports, because sports, in my honest opinion, teaches you teamwork, teaches you how to think ahead, which is how I got forward thinking in my life and my foresight. So
Mm. Oh, hold on. So you say you make music, or like explain that if you don't mind.
I play the guitar and I put it on YouTube, and it just
Oh, okay. You got skills.
I call my YouTube channel Low Tech Education with Mr. Freitas, because there's not a whole bunch of technology in place. It's just me speaking, playing the guitar, and having a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Same question for you, Jyotsna.
Jyotsna, yeah.
I'm sure somebody gonna hear you and be like, oh my God, I gotta get in touch with her. So how can I do it?
Sure. So final words is in the context of fear, what we were talking about. It might feel difficult, but just try it. Just feel the fear, embrace it, honor it, let it be. It's not something to be afraid of. And learn to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. It's a great skill to have, and you really can get over it. It's just understanding how your mind works. Your mind is wired to feel fear. It's anxiety. These are normal emotions. We don't have to be a slave to them. We can rise above them. And we shouldn't push our feelings, because our feelings are the most real thing that we feel inside. So always honor it. Let it come out, because what's the worst that can happen? You'll shiver, your body will shiver, and it will pass. But let it be. Is so get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And if you'd like to reach me, I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can just find my name on LinkedIn. Or you can also book a call with me on my website. I can leave my details, but otherwise you can just find me on LinkedIn and ping me there.
Awesome. Well, this is not it, by the way. I just want to get that clear. I have two bonus questions for the audience from both of you guys. If
Oh,
you guys don't, yeah. So I will start with you, Raymond. What is your biggest takeaway from this conversation?
Biggest takeaway from this conversation is that we all have room to grow and heal in our lives, and your healing journey never ends.
It never ends. And second question, what is that one thing or two thing when people do it drives you crazy?
Oh, is that for me?
Yes.
Oh God, my pet peeves, huh? Uh, I would definitely have to say soda drinking, because I had a soda addiction at one time in my life. So if you drink a soda around me, I'm gonna be like, ooh. The second one is definitely gonna have to be, that's a tough one. Because not a lot actually really gets me under my skin. But I would just say being dishonest. I think dishonesty is a real trigger for me, only because what is there to lie about? Be
Mm,
honest. And then, like I said, if you're lying about something like this, the subject of our show, are you afraid of telling the truth?
mm,
And I think we see that all over the world right now. There's misinformation, lies on social media. gets people thinking, oh, so just be honest about yourself, you know,
Mhm.
and when you're honest about everything you do, you're gonna be fine because, you know, the truth will set you free.
Powerful. Thank you so much, Raymond, for sharing. And I will
Absolutely.
switch back over to you, Jyotsna. What is your biggest takeaway from this conversation?
So the biggest takeaway is it's been really refreshing to see another perspective to fear from Ray, how he's in a place where he's healed himself and he's just so zen and just okay with it. So that's been, very interesting to hear his story.
Hmm. And what is that one thing or two thing when people do it drive you crazy?
One thing, oh, okay. So I like order at home. Um, and I have a 6-year-old, and there is mess, and I'm okay to live in mess. But because I'm a busy mum, I need things to happen in a very structured way, according to a routine, and things to be in their place. Because I try to be efficient in what I do so I can be really quick. So if my husband puts things where they're not meant to be, that drives me crazy. If the forks are not in the fork rack and if they end up in the spoon rack, that will drive me crazy. But that's just my need for control. But yeah, those kind of little things drive me crazy.
Wow. We all got
And,
him.
and if I'm allowed another thing, it doesn't drive me crazy, but one thing I don't understand, or kind of, no, I do understand, but um I because I live in London, London's a busy city, and I'm sure New York is the same, why people can't be friendly to each other.
Mm.
So I go to Germany with my husband, and in Germany, everyone meets and greets each other, whether you're in a lift or whether you've gone for a walk, and people are really nice and polite. But living in a city like London, there is no politeness. People can be quite rude and very self-absorbed. And although I understand that okay, they're in their own world, people think about themselves more than they think about others. But so wouldn't it be nice if they could just, smile? I remember I said hello to a guy in the lift once here, or an elevator, and he just looked at me like I was so weird. I was like, okay. So yeah, people could be nicer.
Okay. I love it. You guys been incredible, by the way. So thank you so much for the generous use of your time, showing up today, sharing your story, sharing what you specialize in, how you add value to the world, who you've been a hero to. And I appreciate you guys being so awesome, by the way. And congratulations on everything, all your success so far. And absolutely, I wish you the best. And for the folks that are watching right now, I just want to put out again one more time. My book comes out yesterday. And if you guys go get it, two Suitcase to Success. If you're watching this Friday, you can go get it. Two Suitcase to Success. That's the name of the book. And you can get it on Amazon. And with that, everyone, make it an awesome day.
Thank you
Thank you
for
very
having me.
much. Thanks.